welcome back to our podcast. Jenny with Madra podcast. Welcome. This is Jenny. With me here is,
Alex, hello everybody.
and our goal for this podcast is to connect with other storytellers, story creators, artists, writers, directors, and anyone who loves story and appreciate the movie watching experience. And yeah, what have you been up to?
Well, aside from working and doing the gym routine, I've been working on my short movies, and that's been going slower because of my job, because of my work. But I've been enjoying that because I'm pushing myself to get to the point of my story and stop beating around the bush and experimenting too much. Experimentation is good, right? But I just had to balance it out a little bit. So I've been composing my frames and setting up shots, and eventually I'll be ready to render and record and edit more shorts, new shorts to put out.
What does it look like when you're going to work post pandemic? You're only required to go there 2 to 3 times a week. Is that still happening?
That used to be the case, I think, but I wasn't around back at that job, you know, at that time. But
But nowadays, it's not like that
it's
anymore.
not it's not as bad. Yeah, I think it's just they've l- they're allowing people to work from home on Fridays, is what it is.
Mm.
Or probably you can switch it around. I don't know. I don't know what the case is, but it's right now it's Fridays, and they want people working in office Monday to Thursday.
Mm.
But that's only where I work. I think other places people generally work from home. I don't think anybody is asking anybody else to work in an office.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's the case. I might be wrong again, but
Yeah. I think a lot of writers work from home until now. I'm guessing I don't really know any writers but myself. When I listen to writers' podcasts, it sounds like they work from home. So I'm just assuming. And they also talk about how they're feeling lonely. So I guess I'm not the only one that feels lonely. There are others that feels the same.
that's probably the nature of our profession in general. It's not really a social lifestyle. It's become more social as of recent because of, the idea of going to something like Lightbox or YouTube. But we're not really social people. I actually almost never think about my loneliness because if I do, which I can, but if I do, it's a distraction. How about you? What have you been up to?
What I've been up to, I've been learning Blender. Thanks to you. You taught me some tricks, tips, and it's really exciting to learn about it. It could help me with my storytelling. So far, I created a couple temples. Definitely a great learning experience.
The stuff that you were making, I saw that. It looks awesome. You jumped into it so quickly. I was surprised. But yeah, that's that's exciting.
It's
And
the
you've
Blender.
been writing and doing your work.
That's a given. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
working. I'm using Blender in hopes to help me tell a better story for my work. And for my passion project, I usually continue one of my passion projects during our weekend together when we go out and like cafe hopping, which we did yesterday. We
Yeah,
went to a new cafe.
that was a cool cafe.
I ended up doing my work, getting really into the details to make the story clearer to me. So I end up doing that because that's just on my mind, playing over and over in my head. It's just hard for me to drop it. But last weekend, we did do our passion project together. We have a story we're doing together, and it's one of your creation.
That's right. You did help me out. You helped me out to sit down and get some interesting mileage on starting to write the story,
Mm.
which was for some reason so difficult.
the cafe we went to. We never been there before, and it was open till 2 a.m. But we didn't stay there till 2 a.m. We were there till 11
Right.
p.m. And that was in Koreatown, and I don't remember the name of it, but it was well lit, like really bright. It's so
It
dark
was pretty.
outside,
It was
but
pretty well lit.
inside it was so bright, and a lot of interesting people there. They were really well dressed, like you could see how fashionable they were.
Yeah, very fashion oriented.
And the drinks there. I ordered a espresso and you ordered mocha
Yeah, I think I
latte.
ordered an ice mocha or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was such a
It, w-
happy feeling.
it was.
How a room is lit really affects your mood.
It does.
And not that when it's dim it'll make me depressed, not that, but when it's dim, like when we would go to Aroma Cafe, it will make you feel more comfy, relaxed.
Yeah.
Versus the Koreatown Cafe is so bright, so it just makes you more energetic and
Yeah.
happy.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's true. And you know what? Something we acknowledge a lot of the time, I feel like the lighting of the space that you're in. You know what's interesting? It applies so quickly to movies or creating a frame, especially now when you're making stuff in Blender. And it's the same thing. Like the brightness in a shot and how dark or how bright controls the mood for the audience just as easily, just as quickly. Easily overlooked, you know? Can fall into that trap of deciding where to light it from as opposed to just thinking about the brightness of the frame first.
And then yesterday we did the cafe in Glendale.
Right.
And that's open till
Nine.
9. Yeah,
Yeah,
9. And we were
9.
there up to 8.
That was a cool place. That was a
Yeah,
cool spot.
it was. We
Was
were
it-
lucky. We got a table,
Yes.
like a comfortable table
It's like a
that's
diner
big.
table almost.
Every single one of them were doing work on their laptops.
Yeah, it was actually very interesting to see. Good
Mm,
observation. Everybody was doing stuff. Nobody was just there
to chill.
to
Yeah.
chit chat and drink coffee. Everybody was on their laptops or writing stuff.
Yeah. But most of them seem like they were with their friends or maybe their classmate, but they weren't. They were really concentrated, focused on whatever work they have to do. I wonder if they're all students. It feels like they are, but you know, I bet there's people that's working
Oh,
people.
for sure.
So that was fun. The lighting there was
It's also well lit.
well lit, yeah,
Yeah.
but not like really, really lit up.
No.
The Koreatown one was super lit up.
It was surrealistic in a way because the walls were also
White.
this reflective white, so it added to the light.
Mm.
There were like reflective areas of the walls, and
Mm.
it felt like we were in a 2000s, mid 2000s Korean gangster film. That place.
Yesterday?
No, the
Oh,
that
the
that
Korean.
Koreatown
Mm,
coffee place, the
the
very
well lit
brightly
one.
lit, because there were also contrasting colors in there. Like there were blues and greens that were
Mm.
very, not I don't want to say neon, but they were quite vibrant. And like you said, everybody was fashionable, but they were all wearing like dark fashionable clothing. So the contrast was stark. It was all about like the silhouette of their clothing. So
Mm.
it was interesting.
But only a few of them were working in that
No,
Korean
yeah.
place. Not like yesterday. Every single one were into
Yeah.
their work. What I like about that is it kind of inspires you to also work hard. That energy of staying focused is a great, feeling to be around.
Yeah, it does help to be around other people that are enthusiastic about whatever they're working on, crafting, writing, painting, drawing, whatever it might be. It does help. It didn't feel like it was terribly far away.
We left late,
Oh,
so
yeah,
it
we did.
wasn't traffic. Both of them were around 35 minutes. It's kind of far than what we usually go to. It's 'cause around our area, all the coffee shops closes at
Right.
3 p.m.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
is that? I don't know.
I
But
don't know either.
when you go further away from our area, there's so many that closes at 2 a.m. which is amazing that they do that, which is so
Yeah,
cool.
it's strange.
It's strange that our area doesn't do
It
that.
does not. It's so annoying, to be honest.
So killjoy, our area.
Yeah,
They're so like grandpa, grandma
yeah. You
mentality.
drive out here on the boulevard and there's nothing. There's no, like it. Everything's closed. It's like something. It's like there's a curfew. Matic.
There's like a vampire that's
Va-
gonna be flying around. You have to be out of the streets by
Home,
7
everybody.
p.m.
That would be a cool movie to watch.
Yeah, so on to our next topic. What have you been watching, or what movies do you want to watch?
There's a lot of new stuff that's been out, and there's stuff that's already been out for years that
Oh,
I've I want to watch, and I've been making a list on my Letterbox account, but uh, my peak interests have been you. I think you might have
mention that to you.
mentioned
Yeah.
this movie to me, but Honora. I want to watch Presence, which is Steven Soderbergh's new film.
Mm.
It's about a super. It's about supernatural. It's about a ghost, and apparently it's
Mm.
really good. I can't wait for 28 days later. 28 years later, sorry. 28 days
Mm.
later, I've already seen. I want to watch Cure. Cure
Mm.
is a Japanese thriller drama. I guess you could call it horror, but apparently this movie is incredibly intense, incredibly terrifying, and it's not for obvious reasons. It's not like it has gore or it's not a slasher. I don't know what
Mm.
it's about, but I've heard so many great things about it. It's by Kiyoshi Kurosawa, the director, Kiyoshi
Mm.
Kurosawa, and it's yeah, I want to watch Cure very
Mm.
much. I It's probably on the Criterion channel, and I want to watch Memoria, which is also by I can't pronounce his name, but the director has made some incredible movies that I've gotten a, a snippet from.
What year?
Memoria actually came out 2021. Apichitapong
Apate?
Apichita
Apate. Rapate.
Apichatpong Weresatakul. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I am not gonna try to say that again, but Memoria looks really good, and there's a lot. There's just a lot of really old school movies that I've missed. Mikey and Nicky apparently is one of the most devastating mobster movies ever made, and it has nothing to do with like how we perceive Goodfellas or Godfather. It's about a friendship. That looks really cool, and the list goes on. But the main ones I've been eyeing are Honora, Presence, Cure. Those three movies are I want to get into them and then go down the list with so much. I mean, there's just so much. There's so much. All these movies. It's just. But yeah. Um, what about you? What have you been watching?
I watched Substance.
I've been told to watch that.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's with Demi Moore. It's suspenseful for me. It deals with loneliness, the value of beauty and youthfulness in our culture or entertainment world, which California or LA culture, that's beauty seems very important. Like how you look, how you
In a probably in an unhealthy way.
hopefully not, but it could be. It focuses on vanity, but not vanity in the sense of like material things kind of vanity, but more of like your appearance, how you could look attractive. You'll go to the extreme
Extreme.
just to look pretty again or to be relevant. What would you do to gain back your, let's say you were once popular at your job and then things change as you get older and you're not the flavor of the month anymore.
Mm.
What people would give to be there again or to be adored again. So it's kind of like that. Looking at your self worth, your self esteem.
That's interesting.
Can you relate?
I think both men and women have things. I guess it's up to the individual, you know.
Mm.
But
I feel like when you're younger, you really criticize yourself so
Oh, sure.
Yeah, more harshly. And you always wonder what people think about you, and you always want to put a good impression.
It depends how you were raised. Depends
Um,
on if that was a thing that was in the family. Like if your mother or father always reminded you or judged you, they're all gonna laugh at you. And school as well, going to
yeah,
school
school
and your
definitely.
friends are like, you look like you're dressed like a bomb, and you're
Mm.
like, oh, I thought that was just being casual, or I didn't care. I'm obviously speaking from my experience. I would show up to school and be like, I don't care. I'm wearing green pants. I did not look like I knew how to dress myself. I just put on whatever the hell I felt like.
I mean, high school, you make a mistake. It's like hard to keep yourself not affected. People would approach me and say, or ask me some horrible questions that I wouldn't want to, of
Right.
course, disclose because back then I didn't know. I mean, I know what that word was, but I didn't know what that meant. Like, what does that mean regarding me?
Right.
Like, I didn't know how to react to it or
Yeah.
how I should feel about it. But then I was just so concentrated on my track and field, like
Yeah.
to the point where I did get the
You fo-
most valuable player award. No one cares about that. But to me, that was a big deal. And
you focused on winning and you won. And to them, that's out of their stratosphere.
mhm.
That sounds so elitist. But screw them. For,
It's okay. It's not happening anymore. It's fine.
oh man, it's just such a that's so like that. I've dealt with that. I'm not gonna go into my end of things, but I've dealt with that because I'm Slavic. I'm a foreigner, and in Germany before we came to America. I'm not German, but we went through Germany. It was horrible. It was just like the lowest of low type of humanity on that regard. But when I came to America, it was definitely not as bad, but it came through. People were just, I don't think they had ill intent, but to always be reminded, like, oh, that's Alex. He's Bulgarian. This is literally a quote. He's Bulgarian. He's not as smart as us. And I'm
Mm,
having like a dinner at like a graduation party. I'm like,
mm,
what the fuck? And then one of them leans in and is like, I heard like they're talking to me like I'm deaf.
mm.
I heard you got your citizenship. I'm like, yeah, I'm a U.S. citizen now. Everybody, Alex is a citizen. I'm like, yeah, I'm a
Mm.
citizen. And they're like, whoa, what is this?
That's so weird.
It's such a, I
Yeah.
mean, thank you for celebrating that, but why are you, like, I can hear you, first of all. Hear you fine. Second of all, I can understand you. You can tell how discriminatory, like how they would pair. Like, oh, you know, Alex, there's that other there's that other kid in our class. I think they're probably from Bulgaria too. I'm like, they're Russian. Same thing. Like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna take offense to that because they don't know their geography or world history or who knows. I don't care. It doesn't matter. But that stuff actually has always been around, even today. It's just today it's more there's more awareness to it, and people rather than learning to be better and more educated about that, they just repress it. They don't they don't do anything about it. It's like I didn't fix my mistake. I just stopped doing the things that could possibly lead to my mistakes. That's what it is today, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. That's what it is. I don't think I don't think people have worked on that aspect of their. Maybe some have. I have no idea, but yeah. So yeah. Anyway,
So, what do you think of what I said of what
substance.
that movie
Mo-
was depicting? What extent you're gonna go to fulfill your dream or to preserve where you want to be? You're already up there. You don't want to go down. How do you preserve it?
right.
It doesn't have to really be beauty, but it could be you have
Right.
accomplished something that was hard to reach, and then you just want to stay up there. You're afraid that you might lose it.
Probably gets harder and harder to keep it up there too. Like you got up there, right? You're like year 1 and 2, I've been up there consistently, and I don't really care about climbing higher. I just want to stay there. But you got to know that there's other people that are gonna pass you there, and they're not gonna choose. Probably not gonna choose to stay there with you. They're gonna lap you. So what are you gonna do if this is what matters to you, to stay relevant in that area? And is that what matters truly? It's interesting because it makes me ask myself, is some of these things we strive for, are they truly what matters? What's important? Maybe that's what the movie's about, is to strike conversations and personal questions like, is this what really matters?
It is kind of scary to lose what
Yeah.
you have
And doing what it
and
takes to
become
not lose it.
irrelevant all of a sudden.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I get you. It's a scary thing. You know what I think? Personal healthy outlook on it, becoming comfortable losing many jobs. And then there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to be like,
What about your status? Like, let's say
oh,
you could lose your job, you just go hop on the next job, but your status is still up there. Let's say you're Tarantino and
I
you
don't
don't want to lose your what do you call it? Your
your name,
legendary
right? Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know if that even matters for someone like, let's say, if I'm Tarantino. I think I've I will remember the fact that I've been making movies for me and to express something I'm deeply passionate, obsessed about to express. And I'm just going to make more movies because the first time I made it, I didn't expect it to be successful, and it became successful, and I never stopped. I never diverted to cater to what the machine wants me to do, and instead I made, after Reservoir Dogs, I made Pulp Fiction, I made Jackie Brown, I made all these other movies that all of them, in one way or another, were controversial or had negative and extremely positive press, and people have hated me for it and loved me for it. But I'm not doing that for that. I'm doing it to tell something I'm very passionate and interested about, and that's what's driving me. So the status, I don't give a shit. I just told, if I'm Tarantino, I told the world that I'm making my 10th movie. This is going to be my final movie. You know what? What if I switch that around? I don't give a crap what people think. I'm going to do my thing. I don't need to announce to people what I'm going to be doing. I don't need to tell people, you know, uh, people, I don't need to be held, account, like, w- people shouldn't expect me to do anything, you know, for them. You want to see a movie, you should try to make it yourself. It's amazing. You want to see your own movie that you're dying to, stop expecting Tarantino to make it for you. Make it. Go make it. That's his point. He talks about that constantly. He talks about that in his Q&A before the screenings or after the screenings. Like, make the movie you want to make. I think as a director, it's one of his probably unspoken goals. Same with Scorsese, same with all these legends. They're not just making movies to be auteurs. They're making movies to inspire others to make movies, because it's a form of communication. And that form of communication expresses a part of humanity, and that humanity teaches us something about ourselves, and it makes people better. Something your work does is it makes people better. When I read your stories and stuff, it makes me reflect, makes me self-reflect, and makes me better, makes me rethink things. That's a good thing. That's creating something honest from your heart and not catering to what the machine wants. The machine wants to make movies for a certain demographic, and it's this type of safe movie making, and it needs to have this as per this bullet point, and it needs to follow this agenda and blah blah blah. Fine. They're going to sell and they're going to make a lot of money, and that's fine. That's not a bad thing. It keeps the medium and the art form going in one way or another. But there's something that comes from truly from the human primal heart level, and then there's something that is born from a replica of itself, and this and money. The first success was so made so much money. I want to make another one just like it. Hopefully to make even more money. I don't even know if that's if there's an awareness to that. It's like they missed the point. The first movie that made the machine made that made tremendous amount of money and it wowed their audience, and it's almost like they didn't actually look at what made the audience so excited, and they just saw, look, it's this formula. It's not about the formula, it's the story you told. It's not about your formula and your visual effects and whatever. It's about the story you told. It was good. And the more you neglected that over the future, the story became shallower, less important to you. And what became more important to you is the visual effects and quickly making things faster. And it just reflects on, the people are not stupid. Audiences are not stupid. They're, so I went off the rails, but that's kind of, that substance feels like it, what does it take for you to stay up there on a macro, that's a macro level, I guess, especially for, it sounds like the movie's about the entertainment industry or whatever, some type of industry. I guess it's about being honest. I don't know. I got to watch the movie. I really got to watch the movie now. What do you think about what I just said
Yeah, I mean,
relative to your question, to the substance?
definitely doesn't match because I'm saying that you're Tarantino. So that you're not even him. You're
I am Quentin
unmatched.
Tarantino. Okay, I am Quentin Tarantino. All right. And when I made Pulp Fiction, all right. No, I can't do it. I can't do his.
All right.
All right. Okay. So
Yeah. Yeah, you don't sound like him.
no, I don't sound like him at all.
Moving on to our. Hey, so what's in the box?
What's in the box? Show me the
What's
box.
in the
Show me the box.
It's an article by the ISA. 5 practical things every creator needs. We could talk about why these are important.
Okay.
Okay, so number 1, an important thing to have is having more than one story. Having multiple stories show your versatility, dedication, experience, and reliability. It shows that you're dedicated to the process, this pursuit of a career, and to reiterate the idea of reliability. It shows that you're in it for the long haul. Yeah, what do you want to say about that? Is
Yeah,
that doable?
it is. Yeah, you have multiple ideas you want to work on, and it's
Creating.
important for people that want to pursue making movies, graphic novels, writing books, even paintings, even uh, creating music albums. I
Mm-hmm.
think or writing screenplays, But it's important because you're stocking up the bank in your
Mm-hmm.
mental bank. You're not running on empty. You have something to bounce off of. And then I assume as you go through it, you get to edit things out. That story's not as good. I'm gonna replace it with this better one. Anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, if people that in the future, if you're when you're ready to present it, and there's like multiple choices that you could use, and if one didn't pass whatever that test is, smell test or whatever, then at least you have another one in your back pocket.
Yes.
Also, if they're looking for a different genre, you better have a different genre. Do I have a different genre? Or do they seem to all be the same? I don't know.
Who cares? Why does
Like a
genre?
suspense horror,
Why
and
does it
then
matter?
I think it matters because if they're not looking for, if they already just got someone that's they got as a like horror, then they don't want to get another horror one. They want to get like
So you're saying
science fiction, I
to,
mean, or fantasy, because they
mm,
didn't get a fantasy one yet. It's like they're spreading their eggs not in one, like spreading their eggs in
not in one basket.
multiple
Yeah, multiple.
basket.
So this is for this is for creating for work to pitch to sell to companies is what you're saying. This isn't personal work.
It could be your personal work, because your personal work someday you would sell to companies.
I mean, I don't know.
Maybe, maybe not. but it
But
could lead to somewhere.
do you really think that we should be creating stuff for others or for ourselves?
Well, for ourselves, but then one day others might appreciate it.
Oh, of course. Others are invited.
Your personal stuff. One day you want people to also enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. Interesting. I've never thought about it like in the genre sense. The stuff I work, my personal work.
Mm.
I never stopped for a second to be like, "Oh, Silicon Dreams is a
It,
horror genre." I don't care. Like if people interpret it as horror, fine. If people interpret it as science fiction, fine. I mean, I don't care.
mm.
It's to me, it's about expressing a certain thing that's personal to me.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe subconsciously I was choosing that, oh, I'm gonna do this next because I just did a fantasy. But ultimately, I was just writing what I wanted to
Yeah.
create. Okay, number two, you need a personal story. So, highlighting your unique voice. This one is more like a bio and all your awards, blogs, including your any relevant experiences.
Oh, so the personal story in terms of bio, like your resume.
When I see you need a personal story, I was thinking like you need a personal story in your story.
Yeah, that's what I
That
was
was
thinking.
what
I
I
was
was
thinking that as
thinking.
well, which is probably a better way, in my opinion, better way to interpret that, because I don't know if I can understand resume or showing experience, but all that other stuff is, it sounds like a distraction. It sounds like noise. It sounds like it actually is completely irrelevant of what you need. It's like saying you need followers on social media. No, you don't. You don't need any following on social media to do stuff. It's a misinterpretation, and it's misguided quite often to think that. A lot of people ask that. They're like, "Do I need to be relevant on if I don't have enough followers?" You would think that that's kind of a dead thing now, but it's still a very important thing for a lot of people, and I'm not
Mm.
looking down on those people, but it's just
Well, how are you gonna be discovered if
no,
they
no, no,
don't
no. You
have
use
social
social
media?
media to self-promote
Mm.
shamelessly, whatever, but it's like don't look at that as a meter on how good you are. Oh, am I
Mm.
a better artist because I have more followers? Am I a better writer or comedian or director because I have more followers? That is not a gauge.
I don't use social media for that, but I know people it really benefits them. Like they are hired based on their uh how many followers they have and like how many posts they put and how many likes on their posts, like how popular they are. I feel like they are hired because of that.
Sometimes,
Don't
or it makes them more expensive and less hireable.
because I'm not reading the full
Sorry.
thing. We might have misinterpret this number two.
Okay.
But we're gonna move on to number three. You need to network and use the network. Relationships open doors in an interconnected industry. In other words, you need community.
Community.
Yeah, you need community.
Yeah,
And
I
blah blah
can
blah.
agree with that.
Mm.
Networking is good, and probably sometimes it's best to let it happen naturally, but sometimes it's encouraged for the individual to push themselves into going to these spaces and whatever, and meeting people, meeting
Yeah.
other writers, artists, and networking. And to me, what networking means is going to a place where there's actual established working professionals and getting some sort of a feedback or learning from them, if you want to treat yourself like that, or you treat them as equals, don't put them on pedestals, and you actually network with, let's say you just met George Lucas and you're like, I'm making a movie that's deeply inspired by American Graffiti, and just wanted to ask you what are we into? Like, don't it's like I'm a film student, and what tips would you give? You could set yourself wherever you want. I guess it just comes from confidence. I don't know.
Mm.
I've never done this myself,
I
but
don't have
but
confidence.
networking places like conventions, I mean, for artists, I guess there's Comic Con and there's Lightbox and
Yeah, I don't have that much confidence in networking. That's why I haven't done that in a long time now. But I do have confidence with my work.
that's what matters, to be honest.
I became what do you
Y-
call it when you're always hiding? A hermit. I became a
No,
hermit.
no, or a recluse. No, it's not. Times are different, and you don't necessarily need to be doing that as much because you can pick up on what you need to pick up on without even networking. The information is ready available for you. You don't you can work on your own craft with an abundant amount of information that is ready for you. You just need to look it up on the internet. It's networking was a thing for that to learn information on how to make a movie and meeting people and but now not only can you get that information for yourself, but you can put yourself out there without permission. You can put your movie out on Vimeo or YouTube. You can, and you can keep pumping it out. You could submit it to a film festival. You don't need to wait for other people's permission. Sometimes networking, in my opinion, what that does to the creator is it it locks their mindset into I need to be told when I'm ready. No, you don't. There's no rules.
I think here though it's saying to network because that's where you're gonna get your next job.
You know what it is though. If anything, networking is, and it depends what type of job it is. If you're working in person with people, or
Mm.
if not. But it's you get to meet people and look at their personality. But again, I'm just saying. Nowadays, people just work from home. And the communication you have is a cameraless Zoom call. They don't even see
Mm.
your face.
Okay, actually, it says here the value of that is for feedback, collaboration, build genuine connection, helping other people. This could connect with making a list of everyone you know in the industry and consider how to stay in touch with them at least twice a year. So that's what it's for.
I mean,
I
you
mean, I
do
get
get
feedback
feedback.
from my work, but
Yeah,
from anyone other than my work, I never had feedback. And I've been okay so
yeah.
far,
You
so I
don't
don't
need it.
need feedback.
You don't.
I don't know.
A lot of the time, that could also be a misleading. This is gonna sound pretty like probably not as pleasant to hear for some people. I don't care, but sometimes that external feedback could actually hold you down, hold you back.
Yeah,
Because
because what is the wrong feedback? And then you followed
yeah,
it.
or it's coming from a
You,
place of spite or jealousy or who knows what. Yeah.
but it'll suck if your story was already good, and then you asked for feedback and they gave you and you believed them, and then you implemented it, and your story now wasn't as good. Probably
Right.
still good, but
Right.
it's not going to be as powerful as you originally had it
Right.
because they convinced you that what you originally have wasn't.
Right. And
Then
it's
that
not
would suck.
and it's not them making your thing, you are making your thing. So they can't really it's an opinion, somebody could walk up to me and be like, that face kind of looks like schmoogly doogly, and you're trying to make figgly biggly. And I'm like, yeah, well, if it looks like schmoogly doogly, that's up to you. But I'm still going to keep going my direction. But if I go, you're right, I should change it because you said so. That's weird. Unless it's a direct request from your supervisor, and that's a
Then
different
yeah, of
story.
course,
But
yeah,
like if it's personal work,
yeah. Definitely trust your own instinct
yes, oh, 100%.
before taking the feedback from other people, especially a stranger or someone you just met in a community. Okay, anyway. So number 4, stay informed and embrace innovation.
100%. Embrace new technology, new tools,
Mm-hmm.
embrace it, be open minded,
Mm.
be adaptive, stop
Key.
living in the past, stop trying so hard to be a purist. But that's to each his own. You know what? If you want to be that, no one's stopping you, no one's going to judge you. But don't judge in return. If you're a purist and you're like, I am forever going to write with a pencil on paper and I think anybody that uses ink on paper or computers and printing it out, or not even printing it out and just posting it on blog, I think they're all idiots. That's not good. No one's judging you that you're using pencil and paper. Don't do that in return.
It says here, keeping up with industry trends and technology means that you help yourself by staying relevant, that word relevant, and competitive. Follow entertainment news, trade publications, and podcasts about your craft. Deadline.com is free. The Hollywood Reporter is free, though you get extra goodies and less ads if you subscribe. Variety.com and the ISA, or Creative Screenwriting Magazine,
Oh,
are incredibly valuable resources. Learn and utilize emerging technologies such as AI tools or virtual production software if you intend to create shorts or a video series on YouTube or anywhere else. The world is becoming easier and easier to get yourself out there by creating material, not just scripts but visuals. AI isn't going anywhere. It's only going to grow and become more and more essential. Experiment with different formats or genres like web series, short films, or interactive storytelling. Create a podcast. Oh, we're creating a podcast. And connect it with visuals to post on YouTube. Attend panels, conferences, or webinars to stay ahead of industry development. This goes along the line of what I mentioned in number three, which is what was number three? I don't remember. Get out there and, oh yeah, network. Yes. But
yeah.
you might actually learn something by attending these panels and webinars
It's, yeah. You know what, Jenny? I am so exhausted with the heated subject
of AI
of AI.
with
Jesus,
A capital F.
A capital bleep I. Can we just freaking
Get over it.
get over it?
It's not going
I know it's
anywhere, it says.
devastating. Oh, God. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about it. But you know what? Here's the truth. And we're not going to cut this out.
No, never mind. Let's
Here's the
move
truth.
on.
Here's the
Move
truth.
on to the next
Hold
one.
on.
Anything you want to say about the websites they
Hollywood Reporter and
mentioned?
all that
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, I don't care.
Oh, you don't go
I,
to those.
I
I
do.
actually
I
go
do
to
not.
those I
I know
actually
you do.
go.
Yeah. What do you think of them? Are they good?
Yeah,
Are they
I like it.
reputable?
Yeah, I like Deadline. I do like Hollywood Reporter and ISA. This is the one we're reading out of the ISA.
Oh, I see.
I go to Script Mag. I don't think I read Variety. I have listened to YouTube videos from Variety all the time. I like it because, yeah, it does give you insight of what's going on in the entertainment industry, film industry, and they give you their opinions. Some journalists or whoever I'm listening to in the podcast, sometimes they become very into it, very passionate about the topic at hand. I do listen to Bloomberg and they talk about AI. I want the facts about AI. I don't want interpretations.
I listen to news of AI like in terms of recently they've made a breakthrough where artificial intelligence can create itself now. So like in the future, robots are going to be able to create themselves, manufacture themselves.
Mm.
Learning, it's starting to learn on its own.
How could AI create themselves? Like they're not there and
I have
then
no
they're gonna
idea.
create themselves.
That part I don't know. I just read
It's
that.
like the chicken or the egg. What comes first? Like, how could the chicken become a chicken without the egg? But how could the egg become an egg without the chicken?
It's artificial. I don't know how accurate that is, but I read about that quite often. ChatGPT or Grok or whatever, they're pushing the limits in how it can start to learn on its own or create its own version of itself, like manufacture itself. Whether it's physical or code, I don't know. I mean, it probably is code as well, but whether it's actually manufactured into one of those like running dogs. Have you ever seen those videos of like the robot dogs?
The AI
It's
that
the
delivers
yeah,
your food.
right.
Is that the dog you're talking about?
Yeah, it's that design. But there's ones that are starting to act like real dogs. Like they're moving around like an actual dog. They've
I think
designed.
there was in I saw a YouTuber take a video of this AI machine that's cleaning the street, and it's like also a trash can that you could just throw your trash
Oh, really? That
thing.
is interesting.
Okay, number 5, this is the last one. Master the art and science of your craft.
100%.
So that's education.
Yes.
So you
It's a
regularly
given.
study and you stay up to date.
You stay up late as well. Don't sleep.
You read books,
Watch movies.
courses. You could also hire a coach
This is where also networking can come in play. Is you meet other artists
and you
and you
practice,
hang out with them or practice with them and you pick up their chops. You know,
which is hard to find those kind of
it is
people
that are open to share.
or that wants to hang out with you.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, hang out with you with
With
that
that in mind.
kind,
Yeah.
yeah, instead of other things.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with that.
Okay, well, our last section, we could choose a question in our paper bag right there.
Question here.
Okay, what's your question?
This is an interesting one. Do you have a recent hardship that you've overcome or been trying to overcome? Oh, recent hardship. Yeah. I don't know if it's a hardship though, but getting into shape, working out psychologically, philosophically, mentally as an artist. Yeah, I guess I have, and it has to do with letting go of pride and the need to be in the limelight or relevant or look at me, I look at my achievements, everybody look over here, and rather let go of that, be free of that, because it can be torturous, it could be a cage and you don't even know it, and instead make things for yourself. Make whatever you want, no rules, because time is slipping away. The more you don't do it, you know, and and help elevate if you're working. Help elevate, help make the product better for the team, rather than sitting there going, "I'm the best one the team has," and they don't even know it. They they don't know who they hired. I am one of the best, and they don't even know it. That's so freaking ugly. So like, I know I had that ego in me, and I let it go because it wasn't helping me. It was keeping me down, and it was keeping me amateur, and that's where maturity comes from, more so than how much better your pencil's craftsmanship is at. Let me tell you about craftsmanship, and that applies to everything else, in my opinion. Making music, directing, being with people, not even having to do with art, or just being with people, be like comparing yourself to people. So yeah, psychological hardship, and admitting to myself how much work I have to do for on me, and how far behind I am on personal improvements. Admitting, coming to terms with it for myself was a hardship. Like really, for some reason, it wasn't just this easy thing. Yeah, yeah, I have problems. Oh, well, moving on. Like actually realizing the detriment, like the downfall from it, that it has caused, the drawbacks, and and starting to fix shit. Be it health, be it the way I am. If I'm a recluse, if I don't listen well, if I don't communicate well, it seems like basic stuff. I'm not it's nothing criminal or I'm sociopathic, but it's just personal stuff to work on. The interesting thing about that, and I'll end my point with this on that question, is uh, all of those subject matters make really good stories, and I learned that from you. I learned exactly the beauty of pulling from the most brutal, embarrassing honesty about yourself or your life, people in your life, and making that into your work, into your story in an interesting way, or in a carbon copy, almost documentary way. But that's inspired entirely by your work, and I think I owe it a lot to that because I that's my head is always there. I haven't been able to shake it. I don't know. I haven't been able to stop thinking about being creative or wanting to make story. I've always been thinking that, and I'm not exhausted. Anyway, that's not the point. What about you? Have uh, do
Yeah,
you have
I
a recent hardship that you've overcome or have been trying to overcome?
yeah, I did see an improvement on my procrastination before. I feel like I was procrastinating because sometimes I couldn't. Maybe it's more of like my flow, like it gets cut, it gets interrupted. I mean, because of either distractions or negativity that's pulling me down, or because of responsibilities that I have to do, or things that I just have to take care of that's important in my health or whatever. And I'm trying to wanting to do that first before doing my work. The flow is gonna end is when I'm tired, or if I
Oh
finally have
yeah,
a headache because
right.
I'm thinking too much. I'm procrastinating, so I'm gonna clean
Mm.
first. When I finally sit down to work, oh, now I'm hungry. Now I need to make food.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something that's in my head that I want to either just get it over with or contemplate. But now my imagination seems to be so in tune of when I say go and then it goes.
That's good.
Maybe it's because I'm more confident now. Maybe that's why I'm not procrastinating. But before I was doubting myself or second
Mm-hmm.
guessing myself or feeling like I'm gonna fail. Maybe that's why I procrastinate. And then now I think I feel I trust my skill more. Unlike before, when my imagination is tell me to do this, I feel like, are you sure? Are you sure? Maybe
Yeah.
not. Maybe there's other options before I go that route. That's why I would not continue and I get stuck. I'm gonna stay here first and not move.
You know, something you said with feeling tired and not being able to produce, and I've been thinking about that. And when I feel tired, I have the desire to produce. And when I try and then I look at it another day, I look at it with a sober mind, I'm like, that it's either complete garbage or it's very bizarrely different and it's good. So it's a hit and miss. However, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but when I'm tired and I've made music, that's something else because my mind is purely going off of on instinct and it's almost like what I'm hearing in my head and I'm creating notes and composing and then when I hear it with a sober mind like a week later I'm like whoa I forgot I thought of that so it's fresh I forgot that I made that doesn't work as well with visuals. I feel like I need to be sharper with visuals.
I guess that is it.
I guess that is it.
Hope you guys like it. Please stay tuned for more when we do make more. It's not gonna be every week now that it's so busy, but
Yeah,
we are really gonna try our hardest to make more.
that's right.
Thank you so much for listening. And do you have any words of inspiration before we close this episode?
Try your hardest not to stay in in the in the negative, in the toxic side of things. Rather, try to be honest with yourself. Be the most creative with your time that you have because I don't know what situations people might be in for me to be like, oh, just, look at the positive side, oh, it'll get better. I have no clue. But if I was going through hell, I would try to find pockets of light for myself. Find pockets of moments for yourself to be in so you can experience a little bit peace and then back to enduring the hell until it's over. Hopefully. That's I don't know. I don't know. I'm putting myself in the worst case scenario. So I don't know. Uh, take a positivity out of knowing that you will have learned how to deal with something very hard. Maybe maybe that's an interesting way to look at it. I think that's more liberating personally to me after I've gone through something hard rather than going, I never want to do that again, and or what a waste, or Gah. I've started looking at it more recently with the idea of I now know how to go through shit like that and be better about it. That I'm literally shrugging my shoulders right now, going like, that is the reality. Is accepting my defeat and learning how to be better next
Mhm.
time. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Hope you guys subscribe, like, follow, comment down below, share, and we'll see you all for the next podcast.
Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye.